Hey everybody, welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. This is Kirsten here, and today's episode is very strategic. It is about macros. It is about getting results with macros, and I'm talking about a couple of reasons why it might be that it's not working for you if you haven't seen the results that you've been wanting. So, what is the deal? So, today's episode is very different from the last one, where we talked a lot about mindset. We are getting really strategic and very kind of like practical. So before I forget, I want to mention one more time that the Metabolic Assessment and Nutrition Audit is still available. So this is a short, quick, like a mini opportunity to work with me if you want to know what your next step should be as far as your physique goals or performance goals or health goals. The thing is that a lot of times people that think that they are ready for fat loss without realizing that they're not. Maybe their metabolism is really run down and they need to prepare it first or heal it first. This is perfect for people like that. And also it's great for those who maybe are ready for fat loss and they just want to know if this really is the case. Am I actually ready? Because what we need from our body, from our metabolism in order to lose body fat is we need to have a healthy metabolism. It has to be ready for it. It has to be ready to be able to take that stress because cutting calories always is stress. So metabolic assessment will help you figure out what your next step should be. Are you ready for a cut? Should you instead increase your calories a little bit to get your body to a healthy place? Maybe you would benefit from a short time calorie surplus even, who knows? This might be the best thing for you to do as well. So if you're interested in understanding exactly what you need to do, I am offering metabolic assessment plus nutrition audit for a very small handful of people. And in this audit, I will take a look at your past dieting history, your current eating habits, your stress levels, your training levels currently, and also ask you to but to send me 5 to 7 days of your food logs on MyFitnessPal so I can see what's actually going on. And the past dieting history is really important. This is really the major big piece of your current metabolic health, what you've been doing in the past couple of years. So this is not something that I do super quickly and put together without much focus. No, I actually go over in detail what you've been doing in the past couple of days. And I'm asking you to provide a lot of information in a questionnaire that I'm going to send you before you signed up or after you have signed up actually. So 2 things I need from you, the questionnaire and then the food logs. And then after that, we will get on a call where I go over the results with you and have my recommendations ready for you as far as what you should be doing as far as your goals. Okay, so this is still available for a short limited period of time. If you're interested, sign up. The link is in my Instagram bio. It is in the show notes. It is in my description on YouTube, and of course also on my blog. So you can find it in all these places. Okay, so moving on to today's topic, which is why am I not seeing results? I am tracking my macros, I'm logging my foods, but I'm not getting what I wanted to get out of it. And first of all, I want to say that there could be so many reasons. There could be like physiological reasons, there could be like stress reasons, there could be that workouts are not on point at the same time. Sometimes medications, and I've seen this a couple of times, medications or wrong supplementation will do it for you. Your workout recovery might be poor, your sleep might be totally off. So there are so many reasons that I'm not going to cover in more detail than I did right now. But what I'm going to talk about today is like purely strategic and purely about logging and tracking your food. And the important thing is to understand that we have to be really accurate with it, and we have to be kind of dedicated and put some work into it, because it's not the same thing as just like eating intuitively and doing the same thing that you already did. Now it's just logging it and hoping that something's going to change. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that just the fact that you're logging your food is not going to give the results. And I'm talking about it because sometimes I see that people think that this should happen, but I am putting all this effort and I'm putting all this time into it and I'm tracking my food, but are you actually meeting the numbers that you were supposed to meet? So this could be what's actually going on, why you're not getting results. And so now next I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you may not be getting results, and we're going to talk about specifically about tracking and logging. So the first thing is, are you actually hitting your numbers? So if you work with macro coach, or maybe you figure out your macros yourself, then it is important that you actually start hitting those numbers and not just take it randomly. Like, okay, 1 week I ate like 1,000 calories on average, and the other week I ate 2,200 calories on average, and third week I actually kind of almost got it right by eating like 1,800, and then fourth week was off again by 1,300. Like sometimes there are huge fluctuations, and we're not hitting the numbers. And of course, we can't get the results like this. So if your coach or you have figured out yourself that your, let's say, calories should be, let's say, like 1800 and your protein should be 140, then you don't ever hit that, or you rarely hit that, or you have like 2 days a week when you do hit that and the other days you don't, and then all your weeks are all over the place, this is not how you get results. And I know it can sound like, oh my God, I have to be so accurate, but honestly, this is what you signed up for, because macro tracking does require some work. It's not like, oh, I can keep doing the same thing that I did before. Now I'm just logging it and hoping to get results. So the first thing is, are you hitting your numbers, and how are you hitting them consistently? The second thing, are you preparing your food? And this is especially important for those who are new to tracking and need to do more preparation. So you literally have to start thinking, first of all, like the protein goal is really difficult for a lot of people at first. And they're like, I have no idea how to get the 140 grams of protein. I'm just using this number as an example. So in order to hit that, you have to prepare. You have to think, how do I get there? So I always recommend that you start preparing your meals from protein. Okay, what's the protein going to be? Am I going to eat salmon? Am I going to eat some other fish? Am I going to eat beef? Am I going to have chicken? Am I going to have pork? What's going to be for lunch tomorrow? What's going to be for dinner tomorrow? And you have to kind of think ahead a little bit and put things into place, because when you're just trying to randomly do it, you don't have things prepared in your fridge, you haven't cooked up, your proteins beforehand, it's going to be really, really hard to do. And later it gets easier when you get really used to macro tracking and you're at a point where you've done this for like half a year, or it's different for different people. Some people get it real quickly, for others it takes some time. But anyways, later it gets a lot easier. You don't have to prepare everything super in detail, as long as you have a couple of protein options in the fridge and you have a couple of vegetables cooked up and you have some starches like potatoes and rice. You can kind of mix and match these things and put together like a really decent plate and hit your macro still very accurate. It's totally possible, but it means that you have to have practiced it for a while. If you're new to it, you cannot expect to get it just like intuitively like that. It's just not going to happen. So preparing, making some foods ahead, this is very important. And if you're trying to wing it, you're likely not going to get there. The next thing is, are you accurate with your tracking? Are you accurate? Meaning, are you tracking everything that you're eating? Because it's so easy to forget about a couple of things, like, oh, I had a bite here and lick there and taste there, and never log these things. Also, another big thing is just eyeballing things and think, oh, I think that's probably like 4 ounces. Well, you're going to do this, for example, when you are eating out, and this is the best thing you can do, right? Okay, I'm guessing it's probably 4 ounces because I have weighed this thing before and I know pretty much this is what it looks like. But when you're at home, I really recommend that you get really accurate and don't use volume measurements such as 1 cup, 1 tablespoon when you log on MyFitnessPal, because when you think about like 1 cup of rice, it could be like a heaping cup of rice, or it could be not. It could, it could look different, right, for different people. So that's why it's important that you actually weigh your food, because this is the way to be most accurate. And also that everything gets logged. Actually, this is my next point. I got a little bit ahead of myself, but accuracy does matter, because when we are not accurate, then we can be off by several hundred calories, and this is enough a day. Several hundred calories a day is enough for you to not get the results that you want to get. Now, the next thing, are you tracking and logging everything, or are you forgetting some things? So especially at first with beginners, very common to forget, for example, cooking oils. Oh yeah, I fried like 3 eggs, but of course you fried them in something. By the way, I do not recommend those Teflon pans where you don't use any fat. So definitely add the cooking oil to it. Or I forgot to add creamer that I put in my coffee, or half and half, or I forgot to add the little bit of butter that I put on my toast. I mean, all these things have to be added because they do have caloric value, and they do add up. So if you forget, again, you could be missing out. You could be not logging like a couple hundred calories a day. And again, there's a problem there, and this is why you may not be getting results. The next thing is, are you planning your day ahead? Do you have an idea what you're having the next day? And I really recommend, especially for beginners, that you know what you're having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner as accurately as possible. This is important because if you don't do this, then you're just guessing and seeing what's in the fridge. I'm going to put something together. And then at the end of the day, you may find yourself in a place where you still have like 70 grams of protein to eat because you didn't plan accordingly, and you didn't pre-plan it and didn't put it in your app. And now you're in trouble because you don't want to eat 70 grams of protein with your breakfast. So plan things ahead. I find very useful on the app to log already what you're going to have the next day. Again, it's special for beginners. Mostly the things that I said here are for beginners. And this is how you really minimize the chance that you are not getting your results, and you maximize the chance that you will get the results that you want to get if you pre-log things. Okay, so the next thing is, are your weekends throwing you off? And this is also quite common. It can actually go both ways. So sometimes people are doing really well, hitting the numbers and are really accurate, like from Monday through Friday, and something in the weekend happens. So it could be that they are just eating a lot more, which is, having more different things, or like the things that they don't typically have, maybe like a donut there, or like a special coffee drink, or a brunch out, or whatever. And then you don't even realize that it can actually put you way over, or it can actually go also the other way. Sometimes I see that people eat less on the weekends because they maybe sleep in and they just naturally have one meal less a day, and then the calories don't add up. So no matter how it goes, like which way it goes, you still try to get accurate with your numbers also in the weekend as much as possible. And all this is, of course, we're always trying to be as accurate as possible. And it's not always 100% the case. Of course, you're going to have a little bit of fluctuations here and there, but for the most part, you want to hit your numbers throughout the week as well as possible. And when you're doing carb cycling, which is what you should be doing if you are in a fat loss phase, then you naturally have 1 or 2 days in a week when your calories are higher. So now when you feel like you want to have more in the weekend, it's a really good idea to use that higher calorie day in the weekend. You should not be doing you should not be doing carb cycling when you are increasing your calories. When you're working on your reverse diet, then you don't do that. But when you are in a fat loss phase, your goal is to lose body fat, body weight, then you should be doing carb cycling. And carb cycling, of course, is a long, big topic, but I want to say what it is not, because sometimes I've seen people are very confused and they have total wrong understanding of what carb cycling is. For example, one time I told my client, okay, next week we're going to start carb cycling. And she said, oh no, please don't tell me I have to carb cycle. And I was like, why not? She said, well, in my previous diet, whatever she was doing, the carb cycling meant basically like 20 grams of carbs a day. I never do that. This is just stupid. This is not healthy, and it's absolutely unnecessary. You don't ever have to cut your carbohydrates this low. High carb days and low carb days are there for a reason, and the reason is to keep your metabolism healthy, not make it worse. And that means that yes, you have 1 or 2 days in a week when your carbs are higher, and then the other days when it's lower, but the carbs are never like 20 grams, at least not in the way I program things. All right, so the last point was then this, and then now the very last one, are you maybe having too much alcohol? So just talked about weekends. Are your weekends throwing you off? And this is the other thing that can happen in a weekend. Are you maybe having a little too much alcohol? Maybe you're having 3 glasses of wine every Saturday, and then maybe your appetite goes up. You're just naturally snacking a little bit more, and then this is how things add up, and then not everything gets tracked, and some things get forgotten, and so on and so on. And of course, alcohol itself too. By the way, I would never tell you that you cannot have this. It's terrible. Like, I'm not like extreme like that, but alcohol itself is not a health food, right? Like there's been like these stories long time that this is healthy for, your heart health, but it's not true in my opinion that if you don't have alcohol, you can't have the health benefits that you want to have. Alcohol is not a health food. It's maybe like a social health thing sometimes when you think about it this way, hanging out with your friends, with your partner, you're having a good time, having a glass of wine, why not? No problem there. But don't say that I'm doing this to be healthy. The other thing is like, what are the amounts like? And if you know that you're somebody who tends to have maybe like 3-4 glasses of wine, and we know that alcohol is toxin in the body and something the body wants to get rid of quickly, so it gets to work on that first before you can even like absorb your nutrients, because it wants to get that toxin out of your body. So if you're somebody who knows that you can easily have like 3-4 glasses of wine, it's hard for you to stop, then you have to go into your like evening or daytime, whatever it is, when you're drinking that alcohol, with a plan. And the plan could be like, okay, max 2 glasses of wine, and this is where I'm going to stop. And you just have to kind of have a little bit more discipline around that. So these are the things that might be causing you to not get the results that you want to get from macro tracking. I'm going to go them over real quick one more time. Are you hitting your numbers? Are you preparing your meals? Are you planning ahead? Are you accurate with your tracking? Are you logging everything, or are you forgetting some of the things? Do your weekends throw you off? And what's the deal with alcohol? Are you having a little too much of that? So, like I said, I didn't address here factors like water, sleep, stress, workouts, recovery, medications, wrong supplementation, things like that. Of course, these are huge factors. And of course, like I've talked about many times, also the level of your nervous system, the stress. Is it a good time? Is it a bad time for you to try even to do macros? If you are super busy and you're stretched super thin and you just don't have the time for it, maybe it's not the best time for you. So think about that too. But when it comes to like really strategic things and logging and tracking for your foods, I just covered 7 most important things, most important reasons why someone might not be getting results, and just has to get a little bit better at this. So this is all I got for you today. One more time, if you want to sign up for a metabolic assessment and nutrition audit, you can still do it. And the link is everywhere where I'm hanging out. So take advantage of this super cool offer. It is really rare. I'm not doing this frequently at all. So if this is something that you want to get direction, you want to know exactly what you should be doing next, then this is the perfect match for you. So thanks so much, and see you again very soon. Bye-bye.